Okie dokie. It is time. Okay. Headphones? Hello? For the Devin Gaming. Or sorry, not Devin Gaming. It's time for the Ing of the Cod. Didn't I switch this? No, I didn't. I switch this shit back at work. Come on. Cool. Alright. Chair's good. Oh yeah, need a little fan action. Electric fan's pretty solid, but overhead fan is just too damn cold. When it's on one side, I'm cool. But when it's my entire body getting cooled, it's just too powerful. Alright. I returned my glasses, just shipped them out so they can get remade. So now, glasses free. Cool. Yeah, where were we? Namespace aliases. Okay, namespace, nested namespaces, yeah. So we could have ow, I had to pop my foot. So we could have int main, and we could have a function, and it's within thang. Or we can have within the car namespace. I don't know if you would do this. Is a tire namespace, and then there would be a function called print brand. And then we're going to include okay, I can't. Excuse me. Car.h we'll just say. So we'll make a header file for it. Car. If not defined, car h. Define car h. And if. And we'll say that there's a namespace. Oops, these need to be capsed. They are. Nice. I'm getting better. Namespace car. And within namespace car is namespace tire. And here is a function called void print brand. Or for declaring them. We need input and output here. And this will only be included once. If this guy's already been included, then he's already there. We don't need to include this again. Now we need a CPP for an implementation file, and it'll just be called car. We're gonna include car.h. And then we're gonna do namespace car tire. Oops. So there's a namespace called tire within namespace car. And within namespace tire, which is in namespace car, is the function print brand. And print brand just outputs Firestone. Cool. That took a fucking while. Oh, did I press the wrong fucking button? Okay, I guess I did. Yeah, maybe I went into debug. Yeah, I must have gone into debug somehow. How did I go into debug and have this shit here? What? I don't know. I did something wrong. Cool. So we can have a header file. There's define something in a namespace. So we can check this by saying there's car, and then there is tire, and then there is print brand. Boom. And if we said print brand without this, boom, no argument list. It's saying that that is a different guy than the other. Maybe I'm gonna try this now. So I'm gonna delete car and delete car H. And now go and see where the shit is. Both are gone. Okay, never mind. I was thinking that because sometimes when I delete files, they don't in here. They don't actually delete in the file explorer. And I was thinking that it might be when I delete everything in there and then delete it, then it's gone. But if I only just delete it and leave the code in there, maybe it doesn't. But no, because I just deleted it from one, not the other, and then deleted them both, and they're both gone. So it's not the case. Yep. So we know that they can be nested. So we can do it two ways. We can do fugu, or this way. All right, now it's too cold. Oh wait, I could just do the reduce the power. There we go. It's in C++ 17. Okay. Oh fuck. So we could have different ones. We could have one header file with foo and goo, and something in foo goo, or something in goo within foo. Then I could have another file within foo, or that has namespace foo, and then define something there. So technically, it would look like here's the namespaces start and end, the opening and closing braces. And we have goo, and it has its own shit, but then we have this other stuff that we implement there. So like, there are definitely other namespaces within the namespace called standard std. But I could go into standard in another header file and add another namespace. So I would be basically saying, here's all standard, here's a bunch of shit, there's a bunch of libraries and different files get you different pieces, different books that you can check out. But I can add another little chapter to it. So that's cool. All right. Oh, I need to turn the light off or I'm gonna fall asleep. Oh. Fuck, I was wrong. I thought I would be very awake today. Because I didn't get much sleep last night, and usually I'm pretty... Like, I have more highs when I'm lower on sleep, but... Oof. Not now. I'm crashing. Crashing hard. KO. Namespace aliases. Oh. Really? Can we do that within main? Can you do it anywhere else? Having the qualified name. Yeah, meaning the full name of something. Like if I want to access add, I have to go namespace or within foo, within goo is add. And if we have multiple, then we could just combine it into something else. Nah, I'd probably put that in the namespace somewhere. Or where most of the namespace is so we know what the hell it is. Or we just have it in the code and it says shortcut for whatever, shorthand for... Oh, yeah, so it does... It's within its own scope. So we could have, like... do I even want input, output? I don't know if I do. So we could do... Yeah, we could do a funny one, or a cool one. We're just gonna do thing. and then we're going to include a header called thing.h. It's easy enough. Thing, if not defined, thing h, then define thing h, and if, and we're going to do namespace thing1, thing2, alright, so what if I say namespace thing1, namespace thing2, and then void do thing. We're gonna have input output. Oops. Void do thing. This is the declaration, so it's fine. And then, do I need it in the definition or do I need it here? I'm not sure. Or maybe we can only do it in main, but I would think I could do it. I guess I can't do it in a namespace, but I can do it somewhere else. So we'll have, I'm gonna have do thing, and there's do thing here. And then there's gonna be another namespace called thing3. And there's gonna be void do thing2. And then I'm just gonna copy. Maybe not. Maybe I can do it a different way. So now we'll do the implementation file called thing. So first we need to include thing.h to check for any return type issues. Let's see what the issues are. Just not using it yet because it hasn't been defined. Oh, well. Oh yeah, because it's looking in global scope. Makes sense. So we had namespace thing1. Within that is namespace thing2. Within that is namespace thing3. Within namespace thing3 is void do thing2. And inside it is output thing2 complete. Oops. And then within thing2 is oh yeah, and then in thing2 there's void do thing. And then void do thing, there is a namespace shortcut, and that is thing1, thing2, thing3. And what it does is it says shortcut do thing2. Okay. And then I could have another shortcut called namespace shortcut. We're gonna call this. Do I even need to define this one in here? Do I need to put it here? I don't know if I do. What if we just built funky things? Okay. I'm gonna call this guy shortcut, and I'm gonna say shortcut. And to test, we're gonna say thing1, thing2, do thing. Oops. Do thing. Missing argument list. Whoops. Oops. Oh, whoops. Do thing 2 is what we are doing here. Oops, and I'm totally not calling it properly. Cool. So what's happening here is I can either do the what was it just called? Alex called it the qualifier names, or the qualifier name, the qualifier, yeah, the qualified name. So we can do the qualified name, so we got a bunch of shit beforehand to get to do thing. Well, do thing is within thing 1, namespace thing 1, and inside that is namespace thing 2, and inside of that is the function called do thing. But instead of having to go into do, well, actually here I am doing thing 1, thing 2, do thing. It has to show using do things qualified name to call. Okay. But then here we're using namespace alias for thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 to get to call do thing 2. So we can do it by the qualified name, or we can do it by the shortcut. Excuse me. And functions just need to be declared so that way once we call them, we have to include them so that they're in here somewhere. So that the compiler has seen them before the function that calls them. Or before wherever they're called. So it could be in global scope. If something's in global scope and it calls another function, that function has to be forward declared before it, or defined before it, more conveniently, forward declared before it, or included before it, in order to actually use it or do something to it or call it. Because otherwise it doesn't understand what the identifier is. So function X, function Y, function X calls function Y. Well, at function X, it doesn't know about Y unless it's been forward declared and then defined, or defined beforehand, or included beforehand, which is the forward declaration. Ugh. Oh, I'm getting tired. What the heck? And thing 1 and thing 2, we're just doing a test instead of doing oh, that's what I was doing. Whoops. Alright, now it's better. Instead of having to do this, and if I wanted to call do thing 2, it doesn't exist. So I could do thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, do thing 2, or I could just do namespace shortcut is thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, and then use shortcut do thing 2. Boom. Same shit. Or here we could say, yeah, whatever. That's it. That's all I wanted to go through. Get my fucking nose again, bro. The allergies today were crazy at work. I think I need to make sure I'm leaving one nostril open enough. Because otherwise I'll get that harsh pop in my ear and it hurts. It's like it's not a pop actually, it's a squeal. And like a squeal pop. Makes a really bad sound. Learning a little bit about vibe coding just to see how, just to get a feel for how AI prompting works. Not using it in any of the shit I do. Because some reputable people I follow believe, probably the case too, that AI just exponentially increases the amount of shitty code out there and exponentially increases the amount of instances where someone makes something, or people who aren't capable of writing good code write bad code or write buggy code, and then they need someone who's experienced enough to read it to decipher it because the AI isn't good enough at deciphering it, or is missing the issue, or can't identify the issue, and it's just not going away. Just like if you keep prompting an image generator to make a guy look smarter and smarter, eventually it caps out, or it doesn't really capture what you want, or you don't want there's like a hair that it keeps poking out like this, and you're like, dude, the hair on the top, on his left eyebrow, on the proximal side, remove the hair that's poking out on the proximal side of his left eyebrow upwards, and it just can't get it. Well, you need someone who can actually understand what's going on in order to make those kinds of changes. So I'm sticking with learning code from the ground up. That way I can implement things from the ground up. And when stuff goes wrong and AI fails or whatever, I can go all the way down and be the people that other people rely on to look in really deep and see what the hell's happening, and to just write good code, because it seems like it's a valuable skill. And those people also, some of those people at least associated with them, think that people who are actually knowledgeable about programming and writing good code are going to become more expensive and in demand over time, because they're going to be needed. They're going to go down for a little while because there's a lot of code that's getting written, but it isn't good enough, but it isn't good code, but it's good enough to do the purpose. Maybe by being less efficient or something else, eventually something's going to happen, and you need people who are experienced. So I'll be one of them peoples. But I also want to at least slightly familiarize myself with how that stuff might work and how you navigate AI in the future, so that if there actually does come a time where it's important to utilize AI to increase my efficiency and streamline my programming and whatnot to accomplish a goal, it might help for me to already realize, oh yeah, this is how I should talk to an AI. Just like whatever, you have a boss who doesn't like when you joke around him, and you need to get fucking promoted in the company real quick so you can leave and get even more money somewhere else. Well, sometimes you got to behave like that around the boss. I mean, I'm trying to think of scenarios like that. I mean, that's not really relevant to my life, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, I kind of tell whatever jokes around any friend group. I don't really distinguish between what I say and different. A little bit. But learning what is a better way of communicating with a certain type of person. Like maybe someone doesn't like the long-winded shit like I am, and like they just want, what do I have to do? What's the next step? That's it. You learn, tell them only the next step. Don't do the other shit for the sake of whatever. So I'm just doing that at work a little bit, and then a little bit after here. So I'm still doing the programming, but doing extra shit just to broaden the horizons, to expose myself to shit. If it's bullshit, cool. If it's good, cool. One advantage, if you ever want to move the functionality within it, I can update active rather than having to find and replace every instance of Fugu. Oh, meaning, okay, there's Fugu and then something's in there, and then later on we do namespace shortcut is assigned Fugu instead of later on, and then the function ends up being 2 namespaces deeper, Fugu mu 2. Instead of having to go to all the different spots and type in Fugu and add that mu 2 to each Fugu, instead I can just update what the shortcut is to be Fugu mu 2, and then all the shortcut, whatever the function do things, will be accurate because they'll be properly resolving the scope and going 4 namespaces deep. That's cool. So we have Fugu. Just, I guess, as a test. And then we have namespace v2 with add. We can say active is instead now v2, and now we can use active, so we don't even use v2. Oh, meaning it used to be in Fugu, but now we've totally moved it out of foo, out of goo, all that shit, and we moved it to v2. Well, now we can just update active to be v2 instead. That way all the calls to that function are the same. We don't have to update the qualifiers at all, or the scope operators, or any of that stuff. Mainly to prevent name collisions. Well, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's why it's called a namespace. It's a space where all the names can be used. So if I make another one, if I have a namespace, and then within that I have another namespace, or let's say I have a namespace here and there's X and other things and pi is defined and this and that, but then I really have to use one of those identifiers in main or in some other function, well, I can make a namespace in that function so that I can create my own little scope, and then I can have that function use that namespace's guy. So, makes sense. Note that the entirety of the standard library is under standard. Cool. Nested namespaces. Like standards. But cout, I still don't even necessarily know what cout is. I don't know if it's a function that uses a different operator or like what it is, because functions we always use, I mean, maybe it's a different name, so it doesn't need those parentheses like other ones, but it doesn't give me an error or anything. If I just do standard cout space insertion operator, so it's less than, so we're putting stuff into cout, there's no parenthesis or anything like that. So it seems like it's a function that doesn't use parentheses, and you input stuff into it in a different way. But it seems like that's a totally separate thing than a function, because normally I put it within, like, I guess you might be able to use an operator to define which operator you're going to use to put information in a function. So like I might define some sort of function within some namespace and putting and the non-bitwise and will put whatever's on the right of the operand into the left, into that variable, and then that variable can do stuff. Just like standard character output outputs whatever stuff is passed to it. But how do we pass to it? I mean, you would think we'd put parentheses and then put it in, but maybe the print function, but not standard character output for a reason that I'm not sure. Oh, I'm getting tired. Ugh. I could almost take a nap. Well, I'm not a nap guy, because then I'm going to feel like shit when it's 11:30. I'm going to go to sleep for an hour and then have 3 hours left when I'm awake, and then I'll have just woken up and then my hair will be whack. I don't care about that, but my hair gets really, really oily when I sleep at all. Just from being in one spot. So, I don't want to do that. My face will get all nasty because I'll be sitting there on the pillow and the oil will accumulate, and then my mouth will be full of spit that'll have not been swallowed during my sleep. So I'll have mouth breath or morning breath again when I wake up. Oh, it's just fucking ass. And then I'll have to shower because I might sweat a little. Ugh. And I'll have to turn my fucking AC. Dude, just talking about how shitty naps are woke me up a little. Alright. Newer ones use nested namespaces to avoid name collisions within the standard namespace. So there could be like standard character output, and then if I want to do cout for something else, because it just makes sense, like, I don't know, do another namespace and then put it there. So it'd be standard something cout. character output. Let's see when the next boxing is. Next boxing. Oh, what? Next, UFC. Nice. I don't know any of these guys. I know Jan. Kevin Holland. Oh, yeah. But nobody's watching this shit. Oh, who is this? It's from, really, Mexico? Yeah, I guess so. What is a rematch? Oh, who is Tevin Farmer? Some high knockout guy, probably? No. This dude's ass. Fought and lost. Oh shit, Zapata was down? He knocked him? Really? That's it? Oh god. Stanionis. Who the fuck is this guy again? Oh, I don't know. Oh, he's already old. GG's. He must have started late. Yeah, he did. Damn. Started in his early 20s. GG, buddy. And knockouts are good. Royd versus Royd. Let's go. Bro, what is this man? Oh, it's a different. Never mind. I was thinking Joe Smith. Inactive? Yeah. Oh, who? Who the fuck is this guy fought? I know him. Bro. How are they so damn detailed? Who is fucking on his dick? Oh, wait, who was the last? Oops. Man. Excuse me. Social media fight. Oh boy. Bro. Who? Bro. These people are jumping all around. Alright. Yes, cool. I could just update that. Yep. Yeah, so like, let's just get it in the muscle memory. And we'll just say, I need to make it first, so we'll do thing, if not defined, thing h, define thing h, and if, oops. Then we'll say namespace thing, oops, yeah. Fuck. Excuse me. We'll just do namespace thing and then namespace. It makes sense to do I guess just a test. Thing one. And then we'll just say there's a function in here and it's just void do thing. And then we're just forward declaring, so it's fine. Oops. C++ file, and we'll just say thing. Include thing h. We need input and output because we're gonna have a function that uses it. So we'll have namespace thing. Oops. Namespace thing one. Yep. And then in namespace thing is void do thing. And in here we're gonna do standard character output. We're gonna output thing done. Cool. And then here we're gonna do namespace shortcut, and it is the same thing as thing. And then we're gonna say shortcut do thing. Like that. Bop. But then if we had to move do thing into thing one, we could then say it's now thing one, and then we could still use shortcut as is and shortcut do thing. Boom, still good. This time from a different spot. So if we have some crazy namespaces to resolve, we can use namespace aliases to reference those without having to type out the entire qualified name. This scope operator into this scope operator into this scope operator. Finally the function. Instead, we can just say this namespace scope operator, this namespace scope operator, this namespace. This is namespace shortcut. We can use shortcut to go straight into there without having to know where it's at or any of that. So that's cool. Cool. Kind of have an inspiration moment real quick. I'm gonna wait. It's only 37 minutes. Oh fuck. All right, we'll do 23 minutes and then I'm gonna play a game for a little minute. I have some inspiration calling. Then I'll do it now and then I'll lock back in until Seth gets here. If that makes the most sense. All right, well, be back in a minute.